Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Love Human Be Spirit. I'm here with my beautiful co-host today. How are you today, Monique?
That's me. Hi, I'm good. I'm doing better now that we're here recording together. But I'm doing okay. I can't say that I'm doing bad. And the new year has started and we are all just doing what we're doing. We're living, we're being human, things are happening, but I'm really happy to be here and I'm really grateful to be here with you as always, recording. Glad we finally hit record because I think we were wasting our limited energy sources talking about what we were about to talk about. And so sometimes we do that. And we decided to hit record instead. And we're happy to be back with our listening community. Excited to start the new year with our listening community and want to just bring up some things that came up for us. Just bring up some awarenesses and revelations that came to light. I think that's what's going to happen. What do you think about that?
Yes. So just
Yes.
for our listenership community, we have crossed the threshold of now knowing each other for 3 full years.
Yeah.
Our recording today is a celebration of that. And even though we have crossed into the new year, the way the whole world looks at it is that it's not the new human design new year yet, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So 3 years ago, and Amy and I were brought to each other. We both signed up for a learning experience, a retreat learning experience with some of our favorites, Dana and Shayna from Day Luna. And it was, something we've talked about before on this podcast is we have episodes how we met and what that was like. And just we have an episode on why and how using our authority to make that decision and how that was like one of our first time decisions doing that and ended up bringing us to a place where we were roomed together and still up in the air whether that was planned by those projectors or not. We'll never know if they actually knew what they were doing or not. But as Amy and I have gotten to know each other over the last 3 years, as we've built a business together, as we've created this podcast and let it flourish as it has, we've learned and noticed a lot of ways that we have really and truly been brought each other for lots of reasons that have become really clear to us as this journey keeps on, right? I mean, does that feel the same for you? And Amy's nodding vigorously, but I just
Yeah.
want to confirm.
I mean, I feel like it was magnified for us in 2024. Like we really
Yeah.
had some experiences that we were like,
Yes.
whoa.
Yes. That highlighted it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was almost like a highlighter. It was put on the awarenesses of like, okay, yeah, you guys like each other. That's cute and all, but there's like a lot more going on here. Like you're actually healing each other's wounds. We found out things about our chart that was like, oh my God, like just and so in this day and age, you got to celebrate. I believe that you got to celebrate your years of knowing people when they come into your life and it feels better. If your life feels better with them in it, you celebrate that. It's harder and harder the older you get to make these important connections and friendships and whatever's with people. And that's just the truth about, when you're younger, there's more opportunity, I think, for you to like bump into people and make a friend or whatever. But the older you get, kind of those opportunities get less and less. So the fact that it happened, the fact that it happened how it happened, and the fact that it still is happening and continuing to nourish our life is something worth celebrating. And we celebrate each other all the time, but we really wanted to take a minute to celebrate this and this creation and the community that has come through this creation, what it has given us in terms of just learning about ourselves and awarenesses for self and others and our children and like the other people in our lives that we care about um and our clients and like everything. I mean, it's just like you said, the highlighting of our friendship and our coming together, it's amplified all of these other wonderful things in our lives. So um, and it was 3 years ago. And so, like I think I started saying, we met on a learning experience, and then yesterday was exactly the 3 year mark of that. And we found ourselves in another learning experience together. We just signed up for this course that we're taking. We're taking a really amazing course with Brandy Jordan, who we've had on the podcast. That queen has her whole episode. Go listen to it. I'm obsessed with her. You can hear me say that over and over. We both are, but like I'm obsessed with her. And Richard Corbett, who hasn't been on our podcast yet, but who we know and care for deeply too, is a friend of ours. And Amy and I decided to sign up for one of their courses that they're offering on the planets, and it has been very cool. We have been learning a lot, and it's a whole nother level of learning from a totally different perspective. But it was just really cool. We found ourselves in a classroom, quote unquote, again together exactly 3 years after first meeting and being in this classroom setting,
Yes.
and we like learning together. And we just tied together too that gate 61 is in the transit, which is a head gate. And so that means it was in the transit then. And so we were learning. Amy has gate 61. I do not have any head gates, but so between us both, we only have her 61, which she's a big fan of. I just learned right before we hit record. She's like, I love my 61. I'm like, okay, say more. Like, let's hear about that. But so all of these things just kind of clicked. I'm like, wow. So we were in a head gate. We met. I always say that being a 1-4 and a 3-5, that there's like this similarity in how, like, because 3-5s really like to learn too. It's just not the same like how 1-lines do. 3-5s are the ones that sign up for like all the courses. They're getting like certified left and right, and they're getting all the they've got all the tools. You need tools, go to a 3-5s toolkit, because my 1-4 is going to have like a very specific
Mhm.
set of tools. Like if you need to like uncover, like, I don't know, like you need like a mini screwdriver, I'm your girl. I probably have that weird shit. But like if you need all the toolbox, you go to a 3-5, because they've experimented, right? They kind of get bored quicker maybe than my 1-4. But they still need to learn. Like they're learners. I'm not saying that the other types aren't, you guys. All of us are learners, right? We all want to learn. I just think there's a similarity in my perspective from 3-5s and 1-4s. It's a little more hands-on with the 3-5, but the 4 wants to share with the community. The 5 wants to externalize. There's like a similarity in the lines, I feel like, for me, and how I see Amy and I learn. And so it's like almost like we feed each other with that a little bit, because she can talk on all the experiential wisdom that she has. And I can tell her about my weird 1-line deep dives like I did this morning. And yeah, it's just very and then I can go, externalize to my network, and then she can externalize her 5-line way. I don't know. We also recently was pointed out that my Mercury is in a 5-line too. So our communication is kind of 5-line-ish, together, right? Something else we just pointed. So God, I've been talking for like, I feel like what feels like forever right now, but all of these things just came to light. And so we just wanted to celebrate our friendship, our story, this podcast, the community that we've gotten to hold and get to know, where this is going, how grateful and appreciative we are for that. And despite this new year starting off with some things that feel kind of challenging to go through, we wanted to focus on this.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. I left I left Monique a voice note yesterday morning, just waking up and really inviting myself to just celebrate and kind of almost feel into what it was like the day, 3 years before. That just the anticipation. We both have gate 35, so we were all like, "Woo, let's go to the adventure, and see what's experiences available to us." And I am really proud of myself because I let myself be super open to it, because as you could hear if you listen to previous episodes, our very first episode is about how we met, right? So if you want to hear that, there you go. But I really, as a manifester, deeply wanted my own room, but I also more deeply wanted a new connection with an aligned human. I didn't cherry pick Monique. I'm so grateful to Dana and Shayna. I left them a super long fucking voice note yesterday too. Just really saying, I mean, did you guys know? Did you really fucking know what you were doing here? because we could blow your whole damn mind if you didn't with what we have uncovered. Because just so many things, just to your point yesterday, we covered in our planets course, we covered the planet Mercury, and all of these planets are in support and in service to our sun. And both of us have line five placements in our Mercury, and it's really
Right.
how we communicate. And so, just learning every little nuance that we've learned, you guys, I can't say it enough, and I say it as often as I can. Having someone to not only one line, like Monique does for us, the information and new fascinations, but also third line, experimenting. And we do both of those together
Right.
in our own unique way, and we bring him to the table, and it is so expansive. There are
Yeah.
so many things that I would not even have in my awareness if Monique wouldn't have brought them to me. And that has deepened my understanding, not only of myself, but others. I've said from the very beginning, one of my favorite things about this system is it really, really, really helps you remove a lot of judgment. I'm human, okay? It still seeps in there, but it has me looking. I mean, I can tell you so many experiences that I've had, especially in 2024, where I wasn't necessarily comfortable in the setting. Maybe I'll even say I didn't really want to be there. And all of our listeners will, well, why were you there? Well, I didn't necessarily know I didn't want to be there until I was there. That's a third line fucking life. Okay. Then I'm there and then I'm like, shit, I really don't want to be here. And all these people are asking me questions that I don't give a shit about. And these are not my people. Like things like that happen. So then I literally just let myself witnessed each of them and had offered some compassion, like, oh, I'm guessing they have this, or I wonder if that. And just letting this system help you have a different experience for yourself has been really, really amazing as well. Monique and I share this kind of stuff with us every day. So if you don't have somebody in your life that to do that with, oh my God, that is like such an initiation I would like to offer you because it does change so much. Because you've also heard us say we were self-learning for a couple of years before we met 3 years ago. And that is beautiful too. And I'm so grateful for all of that because it had the me craving more, always searching for more. But then, whenever I got to meet Monique and, the gift of what we've been creating together, I mean, we've documented our 3 years together right here on this podcast. I mean, this is a great time for us to celebrate, much like you always do, Monique. Just our listenership that we know is waiting for our next episode. And that feels just dreamy to us. It just feels amazing. And so I want to
Mhm.
really take a moment to just give some deep gratitude that you truly want to hear what we have to share because what we're sharing is our lived experiences. That's what we're doing each and every time. And today's no different. And we have 3 full years of them together.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. I was just thinking that. Um, I love everything you said. And it's so, I don't know, I like to think it's relevant. Even though maybe it's not exactly a specific topic, but it is our lived experience, like you said. And this podcast has been our lived experience since we started it. While we've learned and evolved together and as we continue to, and it just makes me more excited than ever, like about what's next. And yeah, our listenership community, if you've been here with us this entire time, we just want to take a second to say thank you so much because it feels to us like there is a very core group of people that truly are, like Amy said, wanting to hear or are excited when our episode is released. And so if you are in that core group of people, we see you and we honor you and we just really appreciate you. Because there is a deep, deep gratitude that comes from us when we think about that. And while we have a lot of growing that we still want to do, we know that we're here for a bigger purpose than what is right now happening for us. I mean, it's happening, but there's more coming, is what it feels like. And I couldn't be more grateful than to do with anybody but you. It just feels like it was just the right timing, the right person, and I want to believe that if you're listening to this and like Amy said, you maybe don't have somebody to like that you feel like this way about with yet, I'd like to encourage you to just keep following. Oh, here comes my cat. Oh, perfect timing. I just want to encourage you to keep following your body's what your body's telling you because it I don't think that it was our minds that got us to the first day Luna retreat that we signed up for. I don't think it was our mind that signed us up for this most recent course. In fact, our minds were like, don't sign up for the course. You don't really have that kind of time or budget right now. But our bodies wanted to, right? And so I believe that when anybody starts really paying attention to what their body wants you to do, right? Not what anybody else is telling you that you should do or where you should be at in your life or what you should be doing with it. But when you really start to honor your own body tells about like which way you should move, I want to believe that you do get to the people like how we found each other. I want to believe that that does bring you your fractal, as they say in human design, or the people you're meant to bump into in this lifetime, or however you want to say that. But I want to say that it's like when we're filled with all the chaos and the noise and the mind clutter, and we're making these like moves for ourselves from a place of like disorientation and like not presence and like noise, that's when we get like skewed away, that's when we don't find the people that we're here to find, or like what in fact maybe we find the people that are here to teach us like the other side of that lesson stuff. But I just want to believe that when we are acting in integrity with our own body wisdom, we will find the people for us. And I think that's how we found each other.
Yes. God, so much yes. I loved how you just shared that. I was just reflecting on, when we met and we've shared fragments of this, you guys, throughout our 104 released episodes that we have out there over the last 3 years. But when we got together, Monique had a vision for a podcast for herself, and I definitely knew that was something that was meant to do, and I knew I wanted a co-pilot. I knew that. I knew I wanted a co-host, and the universe hadn't presented me with who that was yet. And I've also shared on here before that, like by day 3, I was like, I think it's Monique. And we've also shared, but I want it to be succinct here for our listeners because my left arrows likes that. But Monique already had a title and she had a bio. I don't know that you knew that that was the bio per se, and so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you knew that you felt like that was the title of the podcast. And just this year alone, I'm just like of our 3 years together. Oh my goodness, so much of what we've uncovered our connection, or just very much like Monique was just sharing, what her body was doing for her without her actually even knowing. And I witness her doing this all the time. Her brilliance, the way that when her one motor turns on and she empowers it to do its thing. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's like fucking gold that comes out of there. It's so amazing. And so I would love for you to share just kind of what we uncovered with the podcast and the
But
name.
so the name, yeah, and you're right. I didn't know it was a bio. I mean, like I write, I've always written, and sometimes I'll just write stuff in my notes app. It'll just come out, and I'll like put it somewhere. Um, I'm trying to remember if this was even related to the title, like, or if I just wrote that separately. I can't remember, but in our planets course, right? That's what you're talking about to come out that my sun. So my main sun gate is gate 46, as maybe you know if you've listened to this. But that is right, love of the body, love of the human body, love of this body, the vessel, the body's the vessel. And my earth, my personality earth is gate 25, which is innocence, love of spirit, right? And interestingly enough, love human, be spirit is the name of like the theoretical podcast that I had in my mind's eye that I thought maybe I wanted to start because I wasn't even sure about that. I just was like, maybe I want to talk more to people out there. Um, and yeah, which is also, I mean, just alone starting this, like having a podcast is a healing tool for me and my design specifically is another thing we uncovered in this planet course. um, Parts of your design too.
At
It
22. Yeah, I mean, literally.
heals, it heals our story by speaking our story, right? Part of our, both of our journeys is sharing experiential wisdom. We all, both Amy and I have, a tribal channel, a collective channel, and an individual channel. We all, there are similarities in our thing, but yeah, the fact that love human, be spirit, it was very, gate 46. If I love my human body, I will, be spirit, as in gate
You,
25, like see the innocence of spirit and like the, I don't know, add more to it. I can't see myself good, but it was something like I just was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy.
and
That the
then,
actual like, yeah, keynotes around that those gates or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
and you also have gate 55, right?
yes.
A lot of that energy infused in that as well. And love human be spirit as an entity. We have a
Yeah.
business chart for it.
Yeah.
Its main sun is 55 as well. Fuck,
Right.
spirit is there with us. And these are things that we all
Yeah.
say. You can't make this shit up,
Yeah.
right? This is for us
Yeah.
so much.
And you're 39 because Amy has the 39, and together her and I make the 3955, which is, what is it called? Emoting, whatever. There's a provocation of spirit. 39 is gate of provoking, 55 is gate of spirit. Abundance, maybe it's gate of abundance. We're not going to ever claim that we say the actual words that you should say on this podcast. We're going to say all of them or like some that are close or whatever. You have books to reference those things. We're here to talk about lived experiences. So the 3955 that we make together, I think, as you said, you were very much almost like trying to call in for yourself a person, a friend, a person that felt right. And then the 50, like, so the 55 to your 30, like you were provoking almost like, the spirit, like what, finding it, whatever. And then, we did come together and we did, yeah. And then our business tried having the 55 as a main sun gate was something that came to light last year for us as well. There's a ton of them. We could probably write a report at this point about all of the clicks that happen in our chart. I'm pretty sure if I wanted to, we could, or if we wanted to, we could put together a detailed like report, like one of those like 60-page reports on all of our clicks together, like how our Chiron and healed the core wound and little lot, like all the connections that my crazy projector pattern brain could see. I could probably put together like a dissertation on it. And you like how my gate of exaggeration is making it more
Love it.
every time.
Love it.
A thesis, guys. I could put a thesis together on it. Yeah, there's a celebration in, I mean, we've do yesterday we uncovered more things about, like you shared, the 5 line energy in our planet of communication. uh Not a coincidence that we have a podcast together, right? God, it just goes on and on. And I don't know. I don't know that it would be as fulfilling for us if we, maybe it would, I don't know. I mean, I'm personal view, maybe it would be just fine if nobody was listening, but I have this feeling that it means more because we truly believe that there are people listening to us that care about what we have to say. And so this podcast, I don't know, it's more because you're here listening to it with us, growing with us. We both know so deeply the value of a podcast in terms of learning. We both learned so much. We still do all the
Yes,
time. It
yes.
is one of our main ways that we enjoy learning. And so Amy and I are the kind of people that I think like to create what we like for others. Like that's part of our design too. Like, we did it, we liked it. So somebody else out there might like it too. Let's do that. Or like, or we want it, it doesn't exist. Let's create that. Like that's very much the place where we like to come from. And yeah, and just being the way that we are naturally has really supported us supporting each other while we do that. There's so many things about your design that are so different than mine and vice versa. And it only nourishes the creations that come out of us. There's no hindrance ever from that. And that's freaking awesome.
It really is. I mean, and we, in last year alone, we got to see each other the most we ever have. I came to Miami for my birthday in March. We went on another day lunar retreat to Mexico in April. You came to Indiana in June with your sweet daughter Mia, and we have a great episode where we highlighted her there. And then we saw each other again when we went to Santa Fe in September. You guys, we haven't had the luxury of seeing each other that much. And I think that that is also a reflection of just how those electromagnetic sparks are no joke.
Yeah.
It's like we joke that we're a whole person when we're together, you know?
Yeah.
And maybe that's, a split definition joke to begin with, but there are things that wire and fire,
Yeah.
succinctly when we're together. And so when we are in a deep learning, like we definitely were when we first met, even though our learning styles are so different. Oh, I forgot to tell you, that is one of the things I said to Dana and Shayna. Monique can be doing five things. She can be eating, she can be, whatever. And I'm like, I have to focus. And yet I want you there beside me. I know that about myself. And that has been something that I've uncovered because I wouldn't have said that in my younger years of learning. I'd be like, everybody else can please quiet down, step away, get a, whatever. I would like really need it in isolation. And this system's different.
Yeah.
Different. And it's also I mean, we joke, we're like, okay, I'm all set. I don't need to learn anything else about myself. I'll sit here. I'm chock full of what I'm trying to digest right now. And we respect that with one another. I'm like, oh, but wait, you got to hear this. And you're like, do I?
Yeah. 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 Sometimes we're full of information. I don't want any more. And, I can only handle so much. Okay. I can only handle so much, 36 over there. You can handle a lot more than me. There's something really cool that Brandy and Richard are doing in this planet class where it's like a visual. We get a cool visual. I don't want to say too much about their course. I don't know what's out there or what's not, but we get a really cool visual about the planet that we're discussing and like how they walk into the room. And that's been doing really fun things for me in terms of learning. And just they describe Mercury as like this like androgynous, like mischievous, kind of like whispery, like talks to everyone kind of character. And I'm like, oh, I know that guy. Fucking know Mercury. That like I know my fucking part. That's Mercury. I know. I mean, maybe it's because I'm a 4. It feels like closer to home, but I'm like, I definitely know that part of me. Maybe it's the Hispanic in me. Like we're a little bit like gossipy like that. But dude, I know Mercury, and it's just cool to picture the planets like that. I think that there is maybe like a benefit to like expanding that into like the other parts of the chart too. Like maybe if we can picture ourselves. I know that with my spleen, she gets like a whole personality. I maybe don't have that with all of my centers yet, but maybe that's something I could look into doing because something about that has made learning really fun. And that's the thing for me is I enjoy. I've always well, it's similar to you. I guess it depends what I'm learning and what environment because there are some times where I'm like I don't want anybody else to bother me either, and I'm learning whatever I'm learning, but I often prefer to like have fun while I learn. And so if I can have somebody to do that with, I don't know. I guess it allows me to be more present and then I can learn. So works
Yeah.
for me. But yes, it's wildly distracting for Amy. And I still will like chat with her in the class. But I also can realize, or she'll tell me to stop, or I can realize when she's trying to focus. And then my daughter gives me the same look. It's like they've stopped listening. There's nothing to say. I can keep talking, but they can't hear anything anyway. So,
I have
yeah,
a
which
perfect example. I did that yesterday in the class. Something they said about somebody else's chart took me somewhere, to like Never Never Land. And then literally I came back and I'm like, oh my God, how much time
yeah,
did this?
yeah,
Thank
that
God it's
happens.
recorded. I'll come back.
That happens to me all the time. It's really she'll say, she's like, I zoned out. Sorry. What? And it's like she just went somewhere else. It's
I
not so much
do.
like
Yes.
zoning out, but it's like literally she's somewhere else. I could talk, be like, hey, da da da, did you nothing, nothing I heard. Whereas like I can't really do that. Like it's really, I mean, almost always I'll hear something you said. If it's like I can't focus that hard to zone out, that's just not how my arrows work. Um, but yeah, I love learning with you. I love this path we've been on together. I love that we get to celebrate it with our community. I love that we're celebrating it, period. I think that as humans, we don't take enough time to celebrate our lives. And one of the lessons that I've been shown lately is just like, we don't fucking know, guys. You don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of shit out of our control. And so I think today, you and I taking the time to sit here and be like, this is important and we want to share it with our community and it matters is good enough for me.
I agree. I mean, I had some chatter in my head, like, who's going to care about that? And I just really want, if that lands for you, if that's something that you have running in your mind, who's going to care? Do it anyway, please.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
it, please, just to show yourself that you're worth it.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, I think I get hung up on this superficial responsibility that whatever comes out of my mouth or whatever I feel called to share, I really deeply need to respect the listener. And by God, it better be impactful and it better have meat to it. And the reality is a lot of times when you and I are just, blowing off steam and just sharing stuff with each other, that has been some of those most profound moments we've had. God, after the breath work session and we came back and we let ourselves fucking laugh, we had
Yeah.
some hysterical moments, but also some realizations. So it doesn't always have to be, gate nine, stand down. I don't have to be so focused, right? Like if this is important to you, I love how you said that. That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah.
And I think in a world where we are plagued with not enoughness, we're here to show you that anything that you ever feel called to do is always enough. Like that's just some deep love that we get to
Yeah. Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I think it's one of the ways that we get to show ourselves that we matter, Like, I mean, we're showing people in our lives all day, every day that they matter. But, there's not a lot of ways that we show ourselves that we matter. And like, that's the truth sometimes. And so this is a platform where we get to do that, and that's pretty cool. So, we're gonna take that opportunity, I think.
And I think that the universe, does you a solid if you are in a receiving mode to attract the most aligned fractal people to you. Um, it's not a mental thing.
Right. Right.
Something that you can mental your way into. And I am going to come to have full disclosure at 51 years old. I have never done an app to like find connections of sorts, right? And I can't fathom what that would be like for the other. And so for me, I envision what that would look like. And you're not going to mental your way into it. And the way that I feel so positioned, the day that I landed in Costa Rica and opened the door to where we were both going to be staying for our time there, I was in receiving mode and I was honoring my gate 61. Like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm going to trust it. There's some mystery to it. And I don't have to have a factual, logical reasoning behind why I'm doing this. And then you guys, look what's happened. I mean, holy cow, I could have not foreseen what was going to come. And so it's not always the most logical path. It's not always this very detailed mental process. That's not what brings some of the most profound moments in your life. And Monique is constantly reminding me of that. And I'm just so grateful. Even just something earlier today that you said, Instagram's supposed to be fun. I'm like, yeah, okay. Thank you for that reminder because I was making shit hard. It's just like there's the gift of having the other, and Monique and I are in so many ways, or we often say, are so uniquely different. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the way that you share with me your reflections of the same topic, the way we can see it. That is so expansive. And it offers that openness. I have the channel of openness. So here we are, right? Like it just really, really offers the opportunity to look at things so differently than you ever have, and what can come from that. I mean, it's just so beautiful. That's where I feel like I'm sitting here 3 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's your recognition though of that too that allows it to like, I don't know, that allows me to keep feeling seen enough to be okay saying the thing. You know what I mean? Like I think I think a lot of projectors have the wound of not being seen and recognized. And I was just reading something earlier today by particularly in family dynamics, because family dynamics tend to be groups. And so that's not really our jam. And so from a very young age, there isn't a lot of recognition of what we bring to the table. Instead, there's a lot of us watching because we see everything, sadly or not, and absorbing, and then trying to perform like that because that is the thing that gets noticed or whatever. That's what we see, right? That's all we have. That's our gift, is in what we see. So as baby projectors, when we're little baby children, um, we're not really necessarily getting that. And so for me, I've learned that that's like a big, like uncovered wound of mine that I didn't even know I had, even though I had really loving, nurturing parents. Like nobody did anything wrong, but energetically. And so having a person in my life like you that feels like they see me and recognize me all the fucking time is essentially healing that, for me and allowing me to be more like myself out there, which is what we need for all of us, right? We all need to be not need, but I want us to all feel more confident to show up as ourselves. And I think that that is where it can get tricky sometimes for us when we're not raised in a supportive, energetic way, I guess, like we're getting to do with some of our kids today. But yeah, and so it is your seeing of me and your recognizing of me within this friendship that has allowed me to really see myself in ways and like, allow other so yeah, it's a very two-way road. Um and as it should be, I think, right? Defined ego says that's how it goes.
Yeah.
This is what I do for you and this is what you do for me. And sometimes friendships and relationships work out like that naturally and stuff, but like I think one of the beautiful gifts that we're getting to see with ours is that it's like the gift that keeps on giving because we keep discovering these ways that it's like, oh, look at that. I mean, yesterday in our little planets class, I put all these little things together between our Mercuries and our Sun gates and our how they support each other. And yeah, it's just like, I don't know. There's not a whole lot better than that for me. So
I mean, just the realization, like when we learned earlier this year about our core wound and then our Chiron placements, and
yeah,
the ways that we have blown our own damn minds. But when you have somebody in, direct connection with you to help you witness that, and like I mean, you share with me things that I don't feel like I see for myself, and I do the same for you. And it's just really, really amazing to have that, in my life. And I'm incredibly grateful. And I wanted it to be acknowledged. And I
yeah,
love how you said it's enough for you. So it's enough for me.
yeah. And I mean, inevitably, it is what we want to be of service of to do for the other. It is what we do for the other, individually, but also together. Like that is what we hope to do is that's part of our purpose path or whatever you want to call it, is being of service in this way that allows people to feel as though they can be themselves and show all of themselves. Look, I got emotional right at the end because it's true. That's like the thing that people need and don't get, a lot of people don't get that pass. Like they don't have the friend or the whatever. So, I mean, I know that both of us feel like that's what we want to offer. So we have to start with ourselves, and we've gotten to because we got each other, which
Yeah.
is awesome. And inevitably, it is part of our path too. It's we can say it's just for us, and it is in this moment maybe, but yeah, it wouldn't just end here just for us. It's bigger than this because I don't know, because I know that we're meant to, also I mean, we've done this for other people too, but the ability to allow us to see ourselves for our whole selves and what that actually is, like giving back to the world, um, it's pretty important.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. Yeah, I just love you so much. Just, I'm glad that we took this time to really honor and have some really deep reverence for our connection and what we've created together. I mean, last year we did our first deep dive into
Yeah.
yourself as a
Yeah.
non-schedule. That was
Yeah.
that was healing for us too.
It sure was.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, we
that's
spoke at the conference for the first time too.
yeah,
That was a last year thing. Yeah, there's been a lot of growth I mean, for sure. And I'm just so grateful. And me too. I'm glad we took this time. And I'm glad that we have this platform and this community to take this time with and acknowledge and be here with in this moment because that's what we got this moment.
you're so right. You're so right. This moment. So what are you going to do for yourself in this moment?
Yeah.
Where are you going to allow yourself to be in the receiving mode? Are you looking for deeper connections? Are you trying to mental your way into them? Are you inviting yourself to just be in places and spaces that you really don't know what's going to unfold? I mean, Gate 61, hey, do it right now because it's okay if you don't know. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And if you're putting any kind of pressure on yourself because it's January, just relax. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just relax. We got some time before the Human Design New Year's, and we've got time in general. And also we only have this moment. So, you decide which way you want to lean into that. But both are true. And we don't have to hurry, but I think we should also take time to appreciate our moments.
I'm glad we did. I love you.
I love you too. And we love you, community, so much.
Yes, so much. So remember, honoring and reminding yourself that you are worthy, deserving, really important. We support you, we love you, we see you.
Yep. And you're valuable and you're worthy just by being here. And we love you so much and love yourself.
Yes. So until next time, bye for now.
Bye.